try your mics. No, I think they're already on.
Mark, I can't hear it, Mark. Can you hear that? I'll do it again.
Check.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Now I can hear you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the City of Milton Planning Commission. I am Peyton Jamison, Chairman. This is a 7-member commission appointed by the City of Milton Mayor and City Council, created for the purpose of holding public hearings and making recommendations on rezoning, use permits, concurrent variance applications, comprehensive land use plan, and plan map, and other related plans and amendments to the zoning ordinance. Let me introduce to you our board members. To my left is Fred Edwards, Gary Pritchett, Paul Moore. To my right is Chris Doty, Mark Bittner, and Noel Carpenter. The petitions will be heard in the sequence listed on the posted agenda. I would like to acquaint you with some of the rules and procedures conducting this meeting. The applicant and all those speaking in support of an application will be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present the petition. The applicant may choose to save some of the time for rebuttal following the presentation by the opposition. The opposition will be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present its position. If time remains, the opposition will be allowed to rebut. Since the burden of proof is upon the applicant will be allowed to make closing remarks provided time remains with the allotted time. The staff of the Community Development Department will be keeping track of time and will inform you periodically of the remaining time for your presentation. Each speaker must fill out a speaker card before speaking and leave it with a staff member of the Community Development Department. All speakers will identify themselves by name, address, and organization, if applicable, before beginning their presentation. When an opponent of a rezoning action has made within 2 years immediately preceding the filing of the rezoning action being opposed, campaign contributions aggregating $250 or more to a local government official of the local government which will consider the application, it shall be the duty of the opponent to file a disclosure with the governing authority of the respective local government at least 5 days prior to the Planning Commission meeting. A violation of the relevant state statute constitutes a misdemeanor. Therefore, if you have contributed $250 or more to a council member and you have not filed a disclosure prior to the Planning Commission meeting, the city attorney strongly suggests that you have someone else speak for your point of view. Each application has been properly filed with the Department of Community Development. Signs have been posted on each site. The matter has been advertised and notices have been mailed to property owners affected by this zoning as required by the Milton zoning ordinance. The Planning Commission's recommendation will be forwarded to the City of Milton Mayor and City Council for final disposition. The Mayor and City Council hearing will be held approximately 3.5 weeks from this hearing on the third Monday of each month at 6 p.m. in the Council chambers. The Community Development Department has reviewed each application in conjunction with the various agencies and departments, both internal and external to the City. Staff's recommendations, findings, and conclusions are here before us in written form, which has been made available to all petitioners and to the public. Demonstration of any sort within the chamber is prohibited, so please refrain from any applause, dialogue with the person speaking, or outbursts. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on silent. All remarks will be addressed by the Planning Commission. Please show the same respect to the person speaking that you will expect to receive yourself. In addition, the applicant shall not submit material to the Planning Commission during the meeting unless requested to do so by the Commission. All material that you wish to be reviewed by the Commission in consideration of your application should be submitted to the staff of the Community Development Department to be included in the normal distribution of packages to the Commission. Finally, to the applicant, if your petition is deferred in accordance with the Milton zoning ordinance, you are required to update or obtain a new sign for reposting. Failure to update or repost will result in further delay. There are no exceptions. At this point, I'd like to call for public comment. That is anything that is not on the agenda that you would like to speak about. Do we have any, Robin?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I move we close public comment.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Approval of the action minutes.
I move we accept the minutes of the Wednesday, November 19th, 2014 minutes as presented by staff.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Okay. So
Robin.
the first item we have is U 14-03, VC 14-03, 14250 Birmingham Highway by Lauren Dillon to operate an artist studio. Section 64-1843 within an existing building and to request a concurrent variance to allow outside storage. So before you, you have the staff recommendation, which is for approval for both the use permit and for the concurrent variance. I do want to make one correction on the discussion on page 10. The applicant had showed that there was a little inconsistency in the middle of the paragraph. I state, therefore, staff recommends that the hours of operation be limited to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you go to page 15 and the conditions, it reflects 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 1B. So we will, the conditions are the correct version, so please apologize for that typo. But other than that, unless you have any questions, staff is in support of this application. And if you have any, we'll have the applicant come up and if they want to make any comments, and then we can open it for discussion.
All right. Y'all have any questions of Robin before the applicant comes up? Okay. All right.
Any opposition? Just
Oh, clear it out after they speak.
Members of the commission, I am Scott Reese with Brumlow Reese & Associates, doing business at 13685 Highway 9, Milton, Georgia, 30004. I'm here tonight representing the Dillons in their application to rezone, or to obtain a special use permit for their property located at 14250 Birmingham Highway. The property is currently zoned AG1. They're seeking an artist studio, which is allowable in the AG zoning. Mr. Dillon operates a metalworking, blacksmithing shop where he produces one-of-a-kind sculptures and railings, I guess for artwork, in other words. The production of these one-of-a-kind items does require a level of hammering, heating of metal, sanding, drilling, all types of, I guess, labor to get the finished product. There were concerns with the neighbors about possibility of noise pollution, vibration. We addressed this privately and had the city come out and test it with their noise meter and see if there were any nuisances from noise, vibration, dust, any of the things that are addressed in the special use package. We were not able to encounter any vibration. The noise that is generated with the hammering is below the acceptable level as stated in the noise ordinance. The variance, the request for it is outside storage. The problem with the business or the special use permit is the type material that's used to produce. It's ungainly, it's heavy, it's not something that can be easily maneuvered in a box in the building. So he needs to be able to store some of the material outside. We have designated an area on the north side of the building where it would be sheltered from any adjoiners. So that was the only variance that we're requesting, and it's just because of a special case in this situation. I think everything else has been well addressed in the packet by staff. Just in closing, I feel like this is a perfect example of how to preserve some sections of Milton's history, its open spaces, as opposed to a house on every acre. If we don't have some variations or some leniency in what we allow. I guess that concludes my presentation. The Dillons are here. We'll be happy to entertain any questions that you might have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there any opposition, Robin?
No, I don't have any opposition.
All right. Any questions?
You can move to close the comment.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and close the public comment. So now we got any questions? for, any questions for the applicant or anything? All
I
right.
think, I mean, just the general comment, I think we're all in agreement, or most of us are in agreement that this is exactly what this particular ordinance was set up to do, to allow things like this. And for me personally, after being out there.
Yeah, site visit took care of all my questions, so.
Robin, I have one question. The sound ordinance, I mean, clearly allows for this kind of work with the sound level that we heard the other day was well within the permitted decibels. So the recourse is if that decibel amount is exceeded, anybody who's affected by it can contact the city and basically affect the application of the ordinance as it reads, correct?
Right. If-
That would be the
if for some
solution.
reason the noise goes up above 65 dBA, then we would just ask the owner, the applicant, to figure out a way to get it back down underneath 65
Okay.
per the ordinance.
I don't recall the ordinance itself. Does it have a length of time that any particular sound can go on? And
It is, I mean, it's like, I'd have to look it up, but it can go above it for a certain amount of time, but then
Yeah.
go back down, but
Right.
in general, it can't exceed that 65 for any
Very
length of
lengthy period of
time.
time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no more questions, I'll open up for a motion.
I move that we approve U 14-03 and VC 14-03 with the conditions outlined by staff.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Okay?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right,
Uh,
Robin?
Yep, the next item is RZ 1415, VC 14-04, 3501 Bethany Bend by Bayesian American Properties LP to rezone from AG1 agricultural and TR townhouse to TR townhouse to develop 77 homes on, townhomes on 10.17 acres with a concurrent variance of a 6-part concurrent variance, as listed on the agenda. So this morning, staff received a letter from the applicant and the applicant's representative requesting a deferral to be able to further modify their plan and work with the neighborhood community around them to come up with a better solution that would appease everybody. So with that, staff would recommend deferral, but obviously we have some community here, so we'll be happy to hear from them. I have one card from the community if there's anybody else who'd like to speak, as well as the applicant. So I do not have a presentation, but we can go ahead and have the applicant come up and then have any community people speak if they'd like to.
Okay. If the applicant would come up?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen, I think we just received the feedback.
If you could state your name and
Oh,
address
I
for the record.
apologize, yes. Wendy Butler, 1359 Brawley Circle, Brookhaven, Georgia. And I'm a planner and a land use representative. We just got the staff report. And the most important thing is taking a look back at the feedback we received and looking at modifications to the plan. We'd like the opportunity to do that. I think there is an opportunity based on some of the specific things that the staff has recommended. And we have a community meeting scheduled for February 12th. And given that time frame, we really thought that, and we've taken a hard look at the variances and think that we may be able to deal with a lot of those and eliminate those. So there really is, this is the first time we received the feedback from the staff and the community, and we already had the February 12th meeting set up, and we'd like to move forward with that. And we think that's in everybody's best interests so that we can further explain to you how we've responded to feedback. We've just haven't had the time to do that. So we would respectfully request deferral.
Thank you. All right, I guess the opposition community
Yeah,
members?
I have one card so far. Hope Winograd.
Hi. Unfortunately, my name's Hope Winograd, and I live at 305 Galcast Drive, which is right off of Bethany Bend in the Wingcrest Park neighborhood. And I've been there for 2.5 years, and prior to that, lived in Dunwoody, and before the city of Brookhaven actually became a city. And the wonderful thing about where I currently live is the in and out access. But when you walk short of getting hit by a car, if you walk out of the end of the neighborhood, down Bethany Bend and stand in the middle, the biggest thing is you can stand in 3 different high school zones at the same time: Alpharetta, South Forsyth, and Cambridge. And the problem with the neighborhood that they're looking at and being at the intersection of Strickland is you're dealing with the Fulton Forsyth County. And so Forsyth has already decided to build a bunch of homes just up Strickland. And that road is, Bethany Bend is starting to back up as it is right now. And the stop sign between Bethany Bend, where McGinnis Ferry becomes Morris, which is just past the neighborhood that they're looking at building. My neighborhood has 46 homes, and according to the satellite version from Google Maps, it looks like our 46 homes, which don't have garages, have more land than what they're looking to build 77 homes on. And if you take 77 homes, guesstimate about 150 cars, and you'd wind up with an intersection that would need a traffic light, and it just, the way that it currently looks would not be beneficial at all to have that large of a neighborhood there. Additionally, you're squeezing in new homes, which would decrease the value of the current 3 different townhouse neighborhoods that are right up the road from there. And currently, there's also a MARTA stop, which is a walking distance from the 3 different townhouse neighborhoods on Bethany Bend, in the Fulton County, City of Milton section. And if you walk to the stop sign, you can get on MARTA and take it to the North Springs station. And so it's safe to walk. You add a bunch more cars there, and the safety factor becomes less. And then lastly, Fulton County just went through a whole redistricting in reference to the school zones, and Hopewell is gaining a second floor, and it's full as it is. And that will be, on Bethany Bend, will continue to remain at Hopewell Middle and Cambridge High School. And with 77 homes, you're still going to have a bunch of different kids unless you make it a senior only. And it's just, the schools are almost at capacity. We don't need any more students there. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other opposition, Robin?
Anybody else that want to speak? No, that's
I
it.
guess a rebuttal for the applicant, if the applicant would like to rebut any of those comments.
Just to be very brief, we would love to sit down and talk with her more about what the proposal is. And there's some road improvements actually being, that are in the very short term for that area that might help some of the concerns. But we would very much like to sit down with her and talk with her further to make sure she understands the detail of this project and that understands whether or not that what the impact is on the schools and on the traffic. what we're seeing is that's not the case. The underlying zoning is already approved for townhouses. Everything in the area is townhouses. We have multifamily in the area and commercial across the street. That said, we have had great meetings with the community and feel like it's important to continue to have those meetings. And when we come back to you the next time, we can respond with traffic issues, school issues, density issues, and overall project issues. So again, we respectfully request 30 days to continue to do that. There has not been a deferral, any requested by the applicant in this process before. There has been good dialogue with the community, in fact, positive dialogue with the community. But at the same time, it's important everybody's informed, and we need to do that at least one more time, and it's scheduled for February 12th. We did send out, unfortunately, we don't have the email for the woman who just spoke, but we did send out the deferral request to everybody who has attended previous meetings so that we could also keep them from wasting our time. It's a good faith effort to try to make a project work given what's in the surrounding area, and hearing concerns. Some things we can meet and some things we can't, but 30 days it seems like a reasonable time, and we really respectfully request that you agree with that, because we think there can be changes made to the plans, maybe the variances. A lot of those will be reduced or may not be there, but the intent is to seriously respond to each one of the concerns, present information that is very logical in responding to those, and then let the decision makers make a decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last rebuttal. Anything to say on that? Okay. That will close public comment. Any questions for staff or the applicant?
Robin, I have one. Is there a number, is there a limit to number of deferrals an applicant can have?
No, and I will clarify, the first deferral was based on the applicant needing additional variances that was discovered by staff, so that's why the applicant's representative said it was the first time that they had requested a deferral, so. Yeah. But there's no maximum.
Okay, so if we just couldn't work it out for this next meeting, then they could defer for another period
Right.
to continue to work on the documents. I know.
They can request it.
Right. And then I guess I can speak directly to you. Can you tell me, when is this meeting? Where is it? What time? The February 12th meeting?
Corey Jones, 125 Andover Drive, Alpharetta. It's being held at the Kroger Center upstairs above the cash registers, corner of Highway 9 and Windward Parkway. February 12, 7 till 9. We've already had one there already. I guess it was last week or the week prior. We just feel like we need more interaction.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Now, as part of this packet, that was missing, is that correct?
Correct. That was their public participation meeting, which by the ordinance, it requires a report 7 days prior to the planning commission, but they just had their meeting on this, I believe this past Friday. Is that correct? Yes. So, they'll be able to meet that.
We have no feedback relative to that.
No, other than I know that they've been meeting with them and having discussions, but yeah, I haven't received a report yet.
Any other questions for staff or the applicant? All right, I'll open up for a motion.
So, and if you do defer, it's to the February 25th meeting, just for information.
I move we defer RZ 14-15 and VC 14-04 to the February 28th, you said?
25th.
25th meeting, and add the condition that the applicant must hold at least the February 12th meeting, if not more, between now and then.
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
All those, or any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
So one opposition.
Gary.
Oh, Gary, okay.
All right, Robin.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, so I'll just, for information, I think some of you were here when we spoke about it, but next meeting on the 25th, we're going to be having a joint workshop meeting with the DRB at 6 PM on the 25th. And I believe we'll probably be providing dinner, so I'll confirm that as we get closer. And that will actually meet for the work session in the executive conference room and then come over here at 7. So we're going to be discussing the Deerfield form-based code and Crabapple form-based code. And originally, there was on the schedule was the conservation subdivision.